else. This is some statistic that you may well find surprising, even shocking. If you're dyslexic, you are 5 times more likely to be unemployed than if you're not. Those figures come from the Dyslexia Association. It's a surprising fact in an age of computers and spell check, but the charity behind the figures says it's down to some employers still being prejudiced against the disability. Anneliese Evans is a dyslexic who's moved to London from Germany and says it's a much bigger problem here.
There's a lot that a dyslexic employer can give to a job or to a company. I think that there is more recognition of it as a learning difference than a learning disability, because there are advantages associated with it, but we're still a long way from, getting rid of the disability stigma. In my opinion, it's just a different way that my brain's wired, and I'm quite happy with that.
Well, hoping to turn this around is the UK's first dyslexic job agency. Joining us is Matt Boyd, head of dyslexic recruitment firm Exceptional Individuals. And also in the studio, we're joined by Charley Boorman, who's the president of Dyslexia Action. Welcome to you both. Thank you for joining us tonight on the programme.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, no, it was interesting listening to her talk about that thinking outside of the box. I think that's one thing which dyslexics really do offer is a completely different point of view, which can be really good within the work environment, because we're all channeled to sort of be these sort of, when you come out of school, you're taught in a set way, and whereas a poor dyslexic, all their life they're kind of bouncing around the outside of the box trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
It's the wrong way. Matt, you're a dyslexic yourself, head of dyslexic recruitment firm Exceptional Individuals. What prompted you to set it up?
So for me personally, at university I had lots of support. I had dictaphones, I had a laptop that was given to me, I had one-to-one support on a weekly basis as well. But when I actually started to apply for work, that's when the challenges really started. That support just wasn't there anymore. I had a first in my degree, I had great work experience, but I just really struggled with aptitude tests, psychometric tests, long application forms, and most importantly, probably disclosing my dyslexia as well. I wasn't sure whether employers were looking for it or not looking for it.
And what did you make of that comment from Anneliese, I think it was, who was talking about maybe we shouldn't be even referring it as a disability. It's more about a difference rather than anything else. It's not something that holds you back. It just makes you act in a different way.
Yeah, Anneliese is one of our top candidates, and it's hard to believe she is unemployed. And for her, she's a big promoter of it being a different way of thinking, and we try to do that as well. We don't want employers pulling our candidates out of pity, but out of the amazing skills and talents that they can bring to an organisation.
And Matt, just before, I'd like to bring Charley in a second, but before we do, can you just explain the ways that you think that is different from many other listeners, and particularly when it comes to the way you'd have to study, the way you'd have to engage with exams and written work, and the way that you have the knowledge but you can't prove you have the knowledge?
Yeah, for me, especially at school and university, it was actually processing what the question was saying and understanding the information that I needed to put back on the paper. But because I couldn't understand the question and the way it was worded, I may mix up a particular word or not understand the sentence completely. I would answer a completely different question. And that's the same for a lot of our candidates when they're applying for jobs as well, even though they're exceptional and they can bring so much to organisations.
Well, stay there, Matt. As I say, Charley Boorman is also in the studio. I mean, you're nodding through most of this. You understand. These are things clearly you've experienced as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've done it slightly different. I grew up as an actor and then an adventure travel documentary maker, and when I used to go to auditions, which was just a nightmare trying to learn lines and memorize and all that kind of stuff. And
is that typical with dyslexics, having remembering facts, lines?
Yeah, remembering things sometimes, and sometimes putting things in order and stuff like that. But when you go through university and school and you go to Dyslexia Action for help, there are plenty of tools to be able to get you over that. But I remember learning a whole piece for a job in a movie, and we did the scene with 2 other actors, and I started sort of screaming and shouting and getting very angry, and they all looked at me and going, "What are you doing?" And I'd misinterpreted it, and it was just supposed to be quite a jolly conversation.
They're in love. They don't hate each other.
It was over. But I think as we were saying before, it's very important, getting all that support in university. Both my daughters have had the same thing about getting computers and dictaphones and help, and I think with just a little bit of help, and it's more about understanding of what for employees to understand what dyslexia is and what dyslexic people can offer. That's the most important part.
And Matt, just before we come back to Matt, before we do that, Charley, when Matt was talking about the voice we heard earlier on of Anneliese Evans, and he was saying it's amazing she's unemployed because she's got all these skills, but there's obviously different ways of thinking. What is the best thing that people can do? Because we know there are some incredible people who either are running their businesses or who are great performers, actors, celebrities, entertainers who we engage with, need in our lives, who have dyslexia.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of entrepreneurial people will be dyslexic as well, because they've had to sort of do it their own way. I think what the most important thing to do is not be prejudiced, as he was saying. It doesn't take anything to give someone a couple of months trial and see how it goes, and I would say 99.9% of the time that whoever gave the person that chance would be pleasantly surprised and will find that person invaluable.
And Matt, what do you think it is? Is it employers not understanding that dyslexia exists? Is it them not wanting to engage with the subject, or it's simply that they feel that they can't be bothered to employ somebody that thinks differently than the rest of the people in their business? I
think it's more an understanding. I think a lot of the employers that we work with, they may say, well, we've dropped the qualifications you need to get into our company. But they don't understand that many dyslexics are incredibly intelligent. That it's not about dropping the grades that you need to get into the organisation. It's about having processes in place that don't exclude these people and being open about employing the amazing candidates and the things they have to offer.
And what barriers have you? I mean, obviously you're running your own business, but presumably in the chasing the dream of running your own business, you will encounter things that you're not very good at.
Yeah. For
like
me
what?
Personally, there's been a few challenges. Being that we're a social enterprise and we're trying to support people, it's application forms to funding and funders, and it's a whole new challenge that we're trying to deal with. But at the same time, actually communicating with our candidates and working with them on a daily basis is probably the highlight of what I'm doing currently.
Well, Matt, if people want to find out more about what you do, exceptional individuals, and maybe this could be employers who are listening thinking, actually, these may be quite incredible people to have on our team, or it may be those who are unemployed, they believe because they're not dealing with their dyslexia in the right way to get them a job because the employers are not listening. How can they find out more from you?
So they can find us online. We've got an easy URL to spell. It's excep.co.uk, so just the first 5 letters of exceptional, or they can call us on 0208 133 6046.
All right, Matt, thanks very much, Steve, for joining us on the programme tonight.